Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Show It Better. In this video, we are going to be reviewing portfolios and man, wait, Oliver's calling me? Yo man, what's up?
Hey man, what's up? How's it going? Are you busy right now? Because I needed to ask you something.
Well, I'm recording a video right now for YouTube. I'm recording a portfolio review.
I just wanted to ask you if you have that lasagna recipe that you mentioned. I'm gonna cook it tonight. Kind of needed like a special recipe.
To be honest, man, that lasagna recipe is kind of a family secret, but I'll make you a deal. I'll give you the lasagna recipe if you record this episode with me.
Sure? No, anything, really, anything. Let's do it. Like I just need that lasagna recipe.
All right, so I'll give you the recipe, you make the lasagna, and I'll see you in a bit for recording the video.
Just call me. I'll be waiting.
All right, I'll call you. All right, bye. So let's start with this portfolio review. Before we start, I want to mention that in these episodes, we are going to be reviewing 8 portfolios. We want to highlight very specific things that we think you should consider when creating your portfolio. We're also going to have 1 or 2 examples that maybe aren't the best, but still we were going to try to correct it and try to see if with the other examples, we can complement it much more.
Because we saw that a lot of the portfolios committed the same mistakes. So instead of pointing the same stuff over and over again, we thought, why not we look at good examples so we can learn from them. And then we have 1 or 2 bad examples that we can try to see what mistakes were made and go from there. I think it's much more dynamic and entertaining this way.
And remember, we're going to be reviewing portfolios, images, and presentation boards. So if you want your projects or portfolios reviewed, there will be a link down below to submit your portfolio. It's very easy. It's for free. We will only receive links through that form. So don't send us any emails. Don't send us
any DMs, anything. Yeah. This is going to be sort of like a series where we want to do multiple episodes. So this is the first of the sequence of episodes we're going to do. The second one is going to be on my channel in a few days. So probably if you're watching this right now, just go to Upstairs YouTube channel to check the second episode of Portfolio Review. So shall we dive in, Steven?
Let's do this.
Let's do it, man. Start. This is one of the good ones, right, Steven?
This is one of the ones that I like the most because I like the first pages the most because they were very to the point, succinct, and minimal. So this is Abel Buen Abad, and he is from Mexico. We're not going to go through all his portfolio, but one thing I want to highlight is this cover. It's very simple. It's very minimal. You have some general information. That's academic portfolio, the university, his name, volume 3, the date, and the CV, and like the whole general introduction, I think is spot on. 1 color, one font, and that is it.
If you go to the table of contents, I mean, for me, the sequence of these 3 pages, spreads, I guess, it's one of the best ones I've seen, I think for the longest time since I've been reviewing stuff here on YouTube. It's very authentic and it's not generic like many other portfolios that we see that are good, but they feel generic. This one is very personal. I like it very much.
He has 3 projects. And remember that your employer or the one who's reviewing you for your master's is not going to stop and maybe read all this. So the people are maybe going to do kind of like this. So if this is very easy to read at first, kind of like this read that is very fast, and if it gets your attention, then it's a good portfolio.
Then they're going to dive in and read it more carefully. They're not going to go page by page reading everything. So you got to catch their attention right at the beginning so that they don't just jump to the next portfolio.
Overall, the structure is good. Each project starts with one big image. To the side, it's just general text informing what the project is about, softwares that were used, which is cool. And then more in-depth floor plans, sections of the project. I think it's simple, very, very easy to understand, very to the point. Maybe I would add 1 more project that's a much more architectural that I can see plans, details, but overall I really liked it. And it's 28 pages. You have to resume, synthesize your best projects, your best portfolio. So I like it a lot. So the second one is by Catalina Cons, and I really like this one a lot. I mean, to be honest, I like all of them. These are very, very good portfolios, and Catalina's did not disappoint. She is an architect from Spain. And what I liked the most about this portfolio is how her approach towards architecture and towards visual presentation can be reflected throughout this whole portfolio. So you can understand through color, through type, and through like the whole way of representing her projects. We understand that it's from her and it's not some generic drawing. I'm just gonna scroll right here so you guys can take a look at her whole portfolio.
Because again, like I think from the first pages, you can already tell what's her deal, like what she's up to and what she has in mind with this portfolio. I mean, come on, look at this section here where it takes the full spread. We see a lot of mistakes in when people just put too much stuff on the spread.
Too much text.
And here she took that moment to enjoy a full section. You don't want to put more. Imagine having something else on that page, it would just ruin it.
And there's a lot of detail into these plans, but they're not so crowded visually. I mean, this is a lot of information in this spread, but it's not so crowded that we don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very detailed plans, but still it's designed for the portfolio. So as you can see, each spread starts with, or each project starts with the title and a general description of it, but it has the same color, which is kind of like this greenish, brownish tone that is reflected in the typography and also in some of the drawings. And then we just see drawings, like very good drawings that reflect her character, her approach to architecture, and how she likes to work on her projects.
And this is to show you that you don't need big flashy renderings, like realistic renderings to have a good portfolio. I would say maybe the opposite, depending on where you're applying to, because we're talking now about how to use a portfolio to apply for a job. And the thing is, you got to research into that position and curate the portfolio towards that specific role that you're going to do. And here she doesn't have any flashy renderings, any ultra realistic renderings, but still I think it's a 10 out of 10 portfolio. And I don't know, Steven, what do you think? Because having the same color throughout the portfolio, it does make it more cohesive. Like you can read it as one piece, but sometimes you don't know when you're going to the next project. I don't know if you felt like that.
What led me to understand that a new project was starting was this spread right here, where we have a lot of white space and then a title, and that's it. But yeah, she adjusted all of her drawings for them to be more or less in this color palette, which, to be honest, personally, I like it very much because I feel that all the projects are from her, or that she intervened in all the drawings of her projects. So I personally like it. Maybe it can get a bit confusing when we have different kinds of projects, but I love like these kinds of spreads where she embraces void space. She's not afraid to leave a lot of room for void space. So in the next portfolios, we're going to see some people cram a lot of images so they can have no void space, a lot of images into their portfolios, into their spreads. And she is embracing. She's like, all right, so we have white space. Okay, let's design the white space. This is all white space over here, a lot of white space over here. So I love how there's always room to breathe in Catalina's portfolio, and it tells me like a lot about her and her personality.
We had some really good entries. Let's go to the next one now.
All right, so the next one is one that we think can be improved. This was by Samyak Malu. Overall, Samyak, I think, had a portfolio where there is a lot of density and it has a lot of stuff, so it's hard for the reader to focus their attention on one specific spot. So here I'm just scrolling through the first pages, and we can see that we have to scroll through like 4 or 5 pages to get to the first project, and then when we get to the projects, it's very dense.
I don't know if it's the project that he's trying to focus the attention here, or the colors, right, or like the layout, because it feels more like he's giving the attention to this side blue bar here instead of the drawing, and the drawing is also on the same color, and you don't know where to look. Actually,
it's hard to read. There's such a harsh contrast, like this white with this dark blue. Then what you're just telling the eye is that this is much more important sometimes. Or
you gotta do those type of actions with something in mind. Like you have to have a reason for doing this way. For example, with the roof plan and community gardening space, like the one on the left page on the bottom right hand corner on the right. Oops. This one, like the left one on the left page. On the left page, left, and bottom. Steven, the one right next to the. Can I? We just get this out. Here, I can do some annotation here. So with this little bit of drawing here, like there's a background that it doesn't really make sense why you're trying to give the extra color there where you already have the vertical bars. I don't know. I would try to put backgrounds on stuff very carefully.
And the problem just repeats itself throughout the whole portfolio. There's a lot of images, a lot of colors, a lot of dense blocks of colors that we can see through here. Sometimes this font is hard to read, so I'll just go with a normal text.
All caps, right?
Yeah.
You should use a little bit more margins. Give a little bit more space because you're going up until the edges. Plus the quantity of drawings, plus going to the edges, it feels very compact.
So if Catalina gave a lot of room to breathe, maybe Samyak is very tight and is not giving room to breathe between each drawing. You can see that there's no void space or white space in between these drawings. So if I'm going to scroll very, very quickly. You guys can see very good drawings, very good projects, because Samyak has like very urbanistic architectural projects, but it's just too dense. Like the first task is to eliminate and synthesize and see what is the most important image here and just leave that image.
The thing is, you're not trying to show the employer or like the master's application that you're trying to do everything that you have. Don't show everything so that they want to see more of you. So they like your stuff, they like your projects, and they want to call you in for a meeting so they can discover a little bit more about you.
Thank you, Samyak, for sending in your portfolio. We are going to go into one of my favorites now, which is Leonard Weber. He is 7th semester in the Bauhaus University of Weimar. I really love this portfolio. It's very clean. The grids are respected, like clear grids of the whole project. And in the cover and in the first pages, you can understand the feel of the whole portfolio. So we have one font, one here, all caps, and then the rest is just like normal text font. And then we also have the content page, which also has 4 projects. And overall, it has 44 pages, so it's very short.
Yeah, and although it's very minimal, you can definitely spot the hierarchy that it has on these first pages. You know where's the title, you know the dates, you know where to look for when you're trying to find that information. I think portfolios are all about hierarchy, actually, and white space.
If we just scroll very quick, we can see 1, 2, 3, 5 images in comparison to maybe 6 or 7 or 10 that we sometimes want to put in one spread. So in 2 spreads, we have seen, very few drawings, but that are very detailed and say a lot about Leonard and about his approach.
We compared to Samyak, he had a lot of good drawings. Imagine like if he used this type of layout, this type of approach. He had some really detailed and good drawings, just like Leonard has.
And he's creating balances too. So we see like the clear division in between each spread. So here we have, a render versus a section, another render versus another section. So it's a story being told. There's like a cadence, right? So some people are going to just scroll through it. So we see white space, then it starts to get a little bit dense. And then here, this is maybe a room to breathe and stop and say, what is this project? This is crazy. This is very good. So everything has like a certain rhythm. So we don't have to fill everything with renders or everything with drawings like this. It's more like a mix between the two to understand how people can read it and the pace at which they can read it.
Totally. And using the full spread, like if you have margins and white space on the average spread on your portfolio, and then out of nowhere, you have a full spread like this one going full bleed. This just makes another impact on the employer, and they're gonna have that little bit of extra time to look at each image.
And here we start seeing details, like facade details, which says a lot about, if you want to be a complete kind of architect that maybe goes into an office but can do drawings, can do models, can do a lot of stuff, then you want to include drawings that talk about that. So you don't want to include only renderings because maybe your employer or the person who's seeing it is going to understand that you only want to do renderings, or you don't want to do only detailed drawings because then you don't have any approach to the visual representation in perspective mode. So here we can see many types of representation that Leonard has approached. We see them throughout the whole portfolio. We still see this balance of drawing versus render, then full bleed render, then maybe sometimes full bleed drawing. But this is crazy, right?
Yeah, this is really good.
Good drawings, very simple. This is not hard to create. This is very simple drawings, but they're clean, well done.
And if you have that good of a drawing, please don't waste it making it really small on a corner of the page. Give it the space that he needs.
Yeah, he could have put one diagram right here on the top, another floor plan, but it would just wrested attention from this original drawing. So it's just like, let's just leave white space here and here so the people can center on the whole drawing. And then we have this beauty right here. I mean, dude,
totally winner.
For me,
Leonard, come on, man.
Leonard, I would, if I had the money, man, I would just hire you right away. Because, I mean, obviously you didn't do this by yourself. Maybe this was a group project. But the fact that you included it, that you know how to represent it, how to say like, hey, I'm an architect and I still like hand models. I still like to do this physically. It says a lot about you, about your visual approach to architecture. So for me,
and your sense of composition and aesthetic too, because being an architect goes way beyond of learning software and knowing how to do BIM stuff. It's about composition. It's about having that creative and artistic feel of the world that goes beyond of just architecture. And here you represent it perfectly.
And if this wasn't enough, I was like, all right, so if he just ends it right here, for me, this is enough. And still, we have 44 pages. I mean, this is not a long portfolio. So I'm just going to scroll one more time, see another project, and see a detailed hand model. I mean, come on. This is crazy.
I wish I had something like this to show in my portfolio.
I wish I had some. If I would have had this portfolio, I don't know who would have hired me.
Plus, look at the density of that technical drawing right against the model. It has all of the little solutions, and it shows that you know how to do properly, how to detail something and construct a building.
Because to be honest, anyone can create a render, but not a lot of people can create a detail of a building that says, hey, I know how to build this building and I know how to represent it. So knowing how to create a render, knowing how to create a hand model, knowing how to create a detailed facade just shows how complete you are in terms of being an architect.
Especially if you're looking for a role in a firm that you're looking to do everything from designing to detailing to city hall improvements. I don't know. Because sometimes you go into an office and your only task is to do something specific. But no, here you show a range of skills so that they know you're capable of doing everything.
And if this wasn't enough, so everyone to this point, we're like, all right, so let's hire Leonard and let's just end with this portfolio. But no, Leonard says, wait, I want to show you one more thing. Just in case you're interested, I can draw really, really good. Are you serious, Leonard? Are you serious?
And I don't know if it was me, maybe I would give a little bit of that hand drawing skills on the cover, on the first pages. Not that this portfolio needs any upgrades or corrections, but maybe, I don't know, I would try to bring some of that skills up front.
So Leonard, you are hired. Welcome to the team. Thank you for participating. All right, let's go into the next portfolio. The next portfolio is by Felix, which I think
Felix
is a
He's
very...
from Bauhaus Weimar too. That's why you're going to see that they have a very similar feeling, a very similar style. Yeah. Maybe that's why, because they're from the same school.
I mean, if this is the quality of Bauhaus, then I want to study there.
I bet it is.
I want to study there because you see the general intent is more or less the same. So very minimal, one font, projects that are divided, render, floor plan. This is all very good. The drawings, come on, Felix.
This is something that I think I didn't have at school, like working with existing, really detailed and existing and old buildings. This is, I think Europe is...
Yeah, very European, right?
All about this, but it's really good to see such a detailed and old building.
Look at this. I did not have this in my portfolio. Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's really good.
Maybe Felix, I think, is more centered in rendering, maybe. I don't know, but still, he has very good interior renderings.
Yeah, it's not your classic ultra realistic, but it has some identity, has his feelings, I mean, his characteristics there.
And if you see right here, these are projects from sixth semester. I mean, dude, sixth semester. My project from this semester, you want to see it.
And we're not showing this for you to feel bad for yourself. Like we're feeling kind of bad because we don't have a portfolio on this level. No, but it's more like if you don't have such a detailed or well-designed project, I mean, it's not about that. It's about you understanding the dynamic, the composition, the aesthetic that the portfolio has. Because a section like the axonometric section like this doesn't have to be from a really old and detailed building. It can be from more of a simpler one, but it would work just as good.
Yeah, if I was to create my portfolio, and to be honest, I think I'm going to create my portfolio in these next few months. I will just look at these videos and try to see. All right, so let's just follow this structure to having simple, clean, big drawings. So as you guys can see,
and it's not about copying again. Like don't go ahead and copy the full structure and do the same thing but replacing with your images. It's not about that. Like each project here had it's cohesive to the layout. The project is cohesive to the layout. Just try to learn from that.
So this is a shorter one. It has 38 pages, but it's still, I think it was super good. So Felix, thank you for sending your portfolio. I think great job. Now we have the portfolio by Tom Jungen, which is also from Bauhaus. I haven't noticed. He's also from the Bauhaus University. So I don't know what... I mean,
you
are you guys seeing videos at the Bauhaus from a show better than upstairs? Thank you. That's so crazy. I mean, we have a lot of submissions by Bauhaus. I had not noticed, but what I like the most about, or what I liked first about this portfolio is the cover, because it's just like a very short resume of what we're going to see inside the project.
Yeah, it's a sneak peek of what's to come. And I think this is a really good approach. You don't have to do that on a cover. You can do that on the table of contents. That also works really well, but well done. I think it looks really good.
And then we just see the table of contents and
very clean to the point. You don't have to do something extra here. Like do the basic, well done. It's more than enough. I mean,
yeah, so there are two schools, right? Two schools of thought. One that, you know, when they show their skills, they put the program and they put like a level diagram of saying, you know, I know 75%, 80%, 50%. I am more from the school of Tom, where he just puts, hey, my skills are Lumion, Photoshop, Word, and ArchiCAD. To the point.
I think so.
That's it.
If you don't know 100% of the software, it's not a bad thing. If you know enough, you can just always Google something, watch some YouTube tutorials, and learn the rest of it, or ask a peer from that firm that you're working on.
If I know, to be honest, if I know more than 60% of a program, then I would put it, because I know that under pressure or in a certain scenario, I could learn it very easily.
Yeah, and if you've opened only once or twice the software and only know 10% or so, don't even put it on your CV. I mean,
yeah. So Tom had also a very clean structure of starting, you know, with a big image. Then he has a white spreads of different kinds of projects. Here we see mostly like first semester projects where there's a lot of composition, and I think it doesn't really depend on the images right here. It's just that it has a clean structure, so it's very easy to read.
Yeah, and I think this portfolio has a lot of good stuff. Again, it's not about how good an image is or the drawing. It's about showing your skills in your projects. Well, but this image is just excellent, right? But what I'm saying is that it's about you trying to show what you've done and your skills, and give space for people to look at it and understand the project and the drawings.
And one important thing that we should highlight is that he gives credit to who creates the images and who he creates the project with. So here it's very clear that the visuals were by a certain company, and that he collaborated on the project with 4 or 3 more people. So yeah, this is super really important. If you did not create a render, if you did not create a floor plan or a detailed, then try to specify it. I mean, you can include it, but try to specify what you did work on or what other people did. So here, I think it's a very good example of how you can credit the other project.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's not something we see commonly on the portfolio, but it's important, guys. Imagine you get hired by from this image specifically, and the employer wants you to do something like this. You're not going to be able to achieve the same result. So be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the whole portfolio doesn't depend on that image. If you scroll like through, you can see that the project has a ton of good images of very good detail.
Wow, I mean, this one is a winner.
Come on.
I don't know. It's something about axonometric diagrams for me that I don't know what it is, man.
You're obsessed with axonometric diagrams.
I'm way more into something like this than just blowing out like a full realistic render on the same. Like diagrams for me, they show a lot more.
Like for me, this has the cover material. This would still work as a cover, like the cover of a portfolio. I would just put my name over it, and that is it. That's what I would do.
Because remember, you're trying to get the employer's attention or the recruiter from your masters right at the beginning. So show your best stuff at first. That's what I think, at least.
So, I mean, if we just keep on continuing, I mean, you have a very good portfolio, Tom. Thank you so much for your submission. And Bauhaus University,
go.
like,
Yeah.
what are you doing with your students? These are very good portfolios.
Yeah, let's go to the next portfolio then. Okay, so this is from Maria, the next portfolio. This is interesting, right, Steven?
Yeah, I loved this portfolio, specifically a use of her urban projects. Maybe at the beginning, I wasn't too much a fan of, maybe this kind of representation where everything is very dense. But when I scrolled through that and got to the urbanistic projects, kind of like this kind of representation, where she has a very nice color palette and we see a lot of white space, a lot of room to breathe. I think this was spot on, and this is something that I would replicate throughout her whole portfolio.
Yeah, the color choice is definitely done right here. I would also give some margins, probably, because I feel that it's just going right up against the edges. And also she does something here that we don't see it very often. She takes the center of the spread to put like important drawings on. I know this is a portfolio where you're gonna like fold pages, and in a physical one, you wouldn't really put this important piece on the physical seam, on the physical, like the middle of it. But since it's digital, you can definitely do that and take the full extension of this white space, this canvas, to explore that.
Yeah. So overall, this spread for me, it was the example of a good spread. You could even count the colors. It's 3 colors. That's it.
Yeah.
But if we scroll maybe through the other spreads, they're not the best. I mean, these are not the best, but still, it has very good things to highlight. So Maria, thank you for sending your portfolio. It's very good. Maybe I just improve it just a little bit, but thank you for sending it in. And now we are moving on to our last portfolio, which is a portfolio by Lee Than. And I left this to the end because it's a more artistic kind of subtle approach to have, like, a very different approach to everything that we've seen. This is completely different. Which, if you think about it, Oliver, I mean, if you're a recruiter, if you want to try to find the portfolios that stand out much more. If you do a portfolio that's very different from everything that everyone is doing, it's going to stand out in some way. So for me, this is that kind of portfolio.
You can either hit a good spot where you're going to stand out, or you're going to hit maybe a bad spot where you're going to not feel part of the common sense. But I still think this is to the correct direction. And it has a lot of artistic feels right on the cover. And then you open this table of contents. Come on, man. I mean, yeah, this is something we don't see very often. We might see like handwriting, but it even has the highlighting done by hand. This was probably scanned, but I liked it. This is something that it has your feeling, it has your touch. You can tell that it's from a specific person and not generically done.
And it's very good, but still we have to highlight 92 pages. It's a little bit much. This is all projects.
It depends on the use case, right? Depends on where you're applying to, if it has a limitation, but I wouldn't go as far as 90. This is maybe his life's work, probably, to go for 90.
It says here that Dan is applying for his master's degree. So maybe for a master's, it would apply, although some masters have a limit of size and projects. But the introduction just stood out a lot. Now let's go into the portfolio. For me, I loved hand drawings. I love seeing hand drawings. Maybe I wouldn't put these specifically
I was going to say
at
the same
beginning,
because it has a lot of strong drawings, as you're going to see as we go through the pages. He has a lot of good stuff in the middle. Like, look at this colorful one. This is really good. Although it's very, you can tell that it's very conceptual in early stages of architecture school in general. But this could have been a much better opener on the portfolio than that simple drawing, which is not bad, but it has a lot of better ones here.
And this is a clear example because a lot of us wonder, hey, I'm just, towards the middle of my architecture student career. I don't have anything to put in my portfolio. What do I put? I don't have any working experience. I don't have any competition experience. What do I put? And Tan is putting his exercises of each project, of each class into the portfolio, which I think is super valid. And if it stands out like this is standing out right now, I think it's valid, because if you don't have any other experience, just the projects that you have done in your workshop, then just put them in a very nice way.
And also we're gonna leave all the portfolios down in the video description, so you can take a look at them with more time and really feel the pages and go with more careful attention in between each drawing. So yeah, this is just a quick run through, but be sure to check all the credits links down in the video description. Yeah, I like this one. Maybe I should have started with this one.
As you were saying, I feel it gets better. It gets better towards the end, and I think this kind of project I would have it towards the beginning.
I don't know. Maybe he was going chronological, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if my masters request that, so that they know how you progressed over the years. But also, it's not mandatory to use the same drawings you created at your first year. It's not mandatory. You can recreate them to put in your portfolio as long as you specify that.
Overall, it's a very good portfolio. It's very specific. It's very different from all the ones that we have seen. Some spreads are really good. Some spreads are not. But I think, for example, this is a good section to highlight. Yeah. And good drawings. Like overall, this guy knows how to draw.
Yeah. This is the guy that has that amazing drawing. He has the skills.
Look at this drawing. I mean, if you're not an architect, he could be an artist. I mean, I think he already is an artist. So yeah, maybe I would reorganize some spreads and eliminate some projects, so it could be much more synthesized. But overall, I really, really like the
And the thing is, we're not specifically talking to Tan Lee here, whereas he should do the stuff that we're talking about. It's just that if you're looking after some tips, and if you have like such a large portfolio and you're going to apply to something, just be aware of the requests that the employer may have, the firm may have, or the masters, so that you know more or less how to curate that portfolio. Because each role, each master usually requires you to create something unique for that position and not use the same portfolio for all of the applications. We opened a question box on Instagram this past week, and we had a few questions here that we said we're going to answer. There are a lot of them. Unfortunately, we cannot go through all of them. But I'm gonna pick one, and we can answer here. And on my video on Upstairs YouTube channel, we're also gonna answer one or two probably. So if you haven't followed us yet on Instagram, be sure to do that. We're gonna leave it here on the screen and also on the video description. What should be the best sheet size and minimal and maximum number of projects? I think the best sheet size is gonna be the one that gets the maximum, the most out of the computer screen. Because when they open, you gotta really be full screen. If you do something very horizontal, it will have the black horizontal bars on top. If you do something very vertical, you'll have the black vertical bars on the side. What do you think, Steven? And what about the number of projects and portfolio? I think we talked a little bit about that, right?
I'm with the idea of having a master portfolio. So when you're in InDesign, you have a lot of spreads that you put all of your projects in at the beginning. But when you are applying, for example, for an architecture boutique office in comparison to an urbanistic office, then you would turn off the layers or export the portfolio with the layers of only certain projects that you think are going to benefit you when that specific employer is going to review your portfolio. To be honest, 4 is my magic number. So. The less you can have, better.
Yeah, and again, as we said during this video, it's about showing them your best stuff and not everything, so that they want to call you in for a meeting. It's all about getting the next step on the interview process. Next question from Daniela this time. Do you think it's worth making a portfolio of projects and then another one for renderings or diagrams?
What do you think?
If you're trying to apply for an archivist position, maybe do one only from renderings. But then, no, you're gonna be on a pool of 100 portfolios, 200 portfolios, so they're not gonna look at 2. You have to have one that's your best stuff, and that's it. But it really depends on the position you're applying to and what you're looking for.
Yeah, it depends on the job. If you want to be hired as an ArchViz artist, then try to emphasize that on your general portfolio and try to make it a chapter in itself. A chapter of project 1, project 2, or ArchViz projects, and that could be it. But if you want to be hired, if you maybe had to have 2 options of a normal architect versus an ArcViz architect, then you maybe would have to separate the two portfolios. So these were the first 8 portfolios that we reviewed, but we are reviewing much more in Oliver's channel. So if you have not seen that video, click right here on the top, or right here, there will be a window with this video. I will see you in the next video and talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, see you guys there. Bye.
No, you don't. No, wait. You know what? Do the lasagna. I'll give you the recipe.